Hello, welcome back. Right, I don't know if you noticed in the video as well, I put this on upside down, so the curved bit down here was at the top. My choke wouldn't work because it was at this side, so I had to flip that around. The throttle cable's not going to work, just a little amount, unless we use like a gear thumbstick, and I don't want that, I want a throttle. So I got another cable coming, we've got a petrol tank coming that should bolt onto the engine. Now, I've been looking online and there's a system kit called the Dikes. The Dikes friction drive kit has like a U-channel and it sits on a little bit of framework coming off the bike. And look, I want you to see that when I put it on the bike, usually your forks come up here. So there's a bit of the kit you can put here that extends out and grabs onto a big U-channel thing that the engine can bolt onto. I'm thinking about going to try and make a mount like that. Now, I've not got much stuff, but I did see it needs some kind of spindles, it needs spacers. I mean, I've got lots of this stuff. Well, I've only got a couple rods of it left, but more than enough to make, like, bore holes in them and turn them into spacers. I've got flat rod of steel, mild steel. I'll move you back a bit. I've got the flat bars of steel. I've got this stuff, I've got thinner stuff, plenty of bolts. We've got loads and loads of chunks of plyboard to cut up a rough design and mock up a rough design so that when it's ready to be copied into metal. So let's get stuck into making some kind of, well, this thing can be a friction drive or a chain drive, and funnily enough, the Gearcase I have, he actually had this thing taken off and had a 10-tooth sprocket put on it to run a chain straight down to one of those. I've got one, it's a sprocket that gets mounted with a rag joint from a motorised bicycle kit. Real cheap and easy to put on any bike, and this works with that, with a 10-tooth sprocket. So I automatically have a bell, and even if it's going to be a friction drive, I can use this bell here on a bit of axle bar with some kind of spur gear on it and just run it from collets and bearings pressed into the side of it. So let's get to it. Let's see if we can pull off a mount. Right, this is what we have so far of this frame. Now, I've made it so that it should only need this bottom part, this U-channel that's put up. Had to heat it to bend it, so, and cool it down in some water. Made it a bit easier. I should have actually bent it on the vise, that would have made sense. Or even the press. I bent it between two bars. I've added these extensions on just to raise it higher. As you can see the profile, we're going to want some kind of section cutting across over the wheel to hold the engine. But when I made these extensions, I thought these two little bars aren't really used for anything, I'll make extensions. Then I realised I need a flat bit to fit these drill holes down here on this bar to clamp it against this fork rail below it, or put this part here down under the fork bars down there and have a separate flat bar up here. Yeah, it'd be better just making it and showing you. That was no easy feat. 2 bends, 2 cuts, 4 holes. There's actually about 7 holes in it, but what a nightmare. Right, let's make the clamp. Why does everything have to be so hard? All I had to do was drill 3 holes. This was already there. But yeah, the idea is if we bring this through the back, that we can bolt them together like that. Then we have a frame. Then we need two support struts coming from the two bolts above the back wheel. Hold on. If we mount, although this is an aluminium bike, these might be a bit weak, but if I could mount a bar coming up the way and have it screwed into the two holes coming up, I can have it going to the back of the U-channel I need up on the back wheel. It's going to hold everything. Now I have no metal for that part, so we're going to make one. I'm going to get rough dimensions in paper of the length and size that I want, and I'll put that on plyboard. I've got loads of chipboard, no, I've got loads of chipboard stuff, OSB, so I'll quickly mock one together with that. Got some brackets, got stuff for spacers, and I've got a couple of little axles from my kid's bike, so I might be limited on width depending on how big the axles are. So let's make it. Check out the masterpiece. Would you believe it? Made it out of plywood. Used my plastic board holes as spacers, put the axles through. Realised one axle was shorter than the other. This was 6 inches. I've brought it back to 5. It's now 5 inches by 5 inches by 13 inches. So I need it to be made out of aluminium, really, maybe 5mm thick aluminium, 5 inches by 5 inches, 13 long. Maybe a box section that I can cut a side completely off, or if it's a U-channel of those dimensions would be better. But even steel, a couple of millimeters of steel, even if it's a box section, like I said, take one side off. But this is it. This is my mock-up, my little replica piece. This is my frame, if I could get it to line up. This is my frame that goes onto the back of the bike, that will clip onto the forks and come up. Where are we? And then we have this part here that there'll be holes somewhere down here for this to link onto it, and this will sit straight like that. And then we'll have bars, which I've only got big bars which are no good, but they'll come from the back wheels up onto here, and there'll be a slot cut on this big bar going from one side over to the other, just a slight slant, just so it's got enough pivoting room. But yeah, and they'll be attached onto the two little screw holes for the luggage carrier, which might be a bit iffy, and if need be I'll bore a hole through here and shove the wheel skewer straight through it and bolt it on from the outside so it's attached to the actual wheel bolt. I've got quick release, so I don't actually have big 12 or 13mm axles through the back wheel of my bike. It's just quick release skimpy things. But yeah, this actually took longer to make than anything else. But it's the right dimensions, it's the right size. I can just place this up here, get the holes for the engine marked out, pull it away, drill the holes, and then when I turn it around, take the sprocket off, slip it through, it'll mount straight to it, and stick the sprocket on from the back, which it'll be cutting through, and the chain will be able to operate straight down to the wheel. Whatever, you probably need bigger axles. That was just for me to make up. If I'm going to be doing this properly, I will go and get maybe bolts, just long bolts. You don't need anything special. But this is going to make this multi-adjustable and fit any bike whatsoever. Now the biggest issue with bikes is having dual suspension, because if your engine's over here or somewhere else and the chain's to the back, when the back flexes with compression of the suspension, the chain gets slack and it bounces about and can jump off the cog or sprocket, get mangled, break an engine, take a leg off. all the usual stuff. Now, I want to try and make this safe, strong, fully adjustable for any bike. I've seen a guy online that does the Dikes kit. Turns out he's got patent rights, or he's got patents pending on everything he's doing, although his kit is copied off the Stratton kit or whatever that other kit is. Can't remember the name of it, but it's the original kit. Now, I seen somebody else had put one of these frames and one of them was angled and welded, so that was funky as well. So if need be, if this can't line up, I'll take one bolt out, turn it to the side a bit, weld it into place, and that'll guarantee a perfect fitment. But yeah, this will be able to lock onto the back of any set of forks whatsoever. Any. Now you might not have to chop it and bolt them on like that. You might get, because my forks are way down here, like you'll notice my forks are quite tight together. Usually this fork bar is coming up here and linking onto the back of your bike, so the angle that the bar needs to come out isn't as much as where mine's is down here. That's why I need a second one to kind of head over that way. But on a normal mountain bike you would just need this bottom part and this part here, and then straight onto here from these bolts here. That'd be like the midway point. And then on the back you're just looking for support to stop. Obviously if it's chain drive you want it pulled up tight, so it needs to bolt down to keep it tight, and if it's friction drive it needs pushed down and tightened so that it stays clamped down on the tyre. But yeah, this is what we need. 5mm thick, 5" by 5" aluminium box section, 13 inches long, and that would be probably one of the most fully adjustable engine mounts you could put on any bike. Crazy. Now Malk was saying about putting one on the front. It's not going to work on my bike because my bike's 6061 aluminium, so there's nothing to really weld to. It's all super lightweighted anyway. But the forks are more than capable for the job. The whole bike's going to be sweet running an engine on it. I've spent ages torquing that up. 1998 original. Cool. Giant box one. Anyway guys, I'll stop waffling on. I need to go in and start sourcing. Hopefully for about 20 quid I could pull off maybe a 13" section of 5 by 5" 5mm aluminium. Hopefully. I could do it out of steel, but I want aluminium. So that's it for just now. I have worked all day and dodged all my duties, so I have to run like a good little sheepdog and take care of loads of stuff. So thanks for joining me on this crazy project, which we don't know what it's going to turn out to be just yet, but it could be dual friction and chain drive. So guys, this is it from Oracle. Bye for now.